The Acropolis of Athens, also known as the Sacred Rock of Athens, is one of the most important sites in ancient Greek history. The first remains indicating habitation on the Acropolis date back to the Neolithic period. The Acropolis was originally used as a military fortress. Due to its height over the city, it provides a great view of the surrounding city and seas. The Acropolis was built on a 512-foot-high limestone rock, and during the Mycenaean time period, the buildings were dedicated to the goddess Athena, patroness of the city. The primary purpose of the Acropolis was to provide sacred grounds dedicated to Athena, but was also home to festivals, cults, and many other historically significant events.
The significance of the Acropolis is that the Acropolis was built in the time before Christ, and most of it survived earthquakes, wars, and riots. The other significance of this main site is the Parthenon, which is sacred to Athena. The temple was referred to as the Blue Bird Temple, named after the man-serpent sculpture whose beards were painted blue.
The construction of the Erectum began in 420 BC and was concluded in 46 BC. Its architecture is just as dazzling as any other building in the Acropolis. Its entrance is lined by 6 maidens known as the Kyriatis. They serve as both pillars and decoration. The Erectum is a complex structure, accommodating various shrines, 6 in total. At the foothill of the Acropolis rests the Theatre of Dionysus. The entrances to the theatre are located on both lateral sides. They are known as the Parados, which literally means entrance. The Scaena is also part of the stage, and it usually functions as a palace, a house, or a city. The theatre is out in the open and has about 14,000 stone benches. All of them are arranged one above the other, like benches on a stadium. Out of all the buildings in the Acropolis, the Parthenon is probably the largest and most beautiful. It is also the world's largest marble structure. Marble masons came from throughout the Greek islands to construct the Parthenon. It is believed to be built in about 9 years. Some archaeologists believe the ancient architects were aware of optical illusions. One can see why. With the naked eye, the Parthenon appears to have straight lines at right angles. But in fact, it has almost no right angles nor straight lines. The base itself is curved, as well as the columns, the ceiling, and the roof. The curvature on the columns is so subtle, one would need to use a compass of nearly 1 mile radius.
After the collapse of the Mycenaean civilization, the Acropolis remained up to about the 8th century BC, where it had become a sanctuary for the Greek goddess Athena, who was also the primary goddess of the city. In 480 BC, the Persians invaded the city, therefore destroying the Acropolis and leaving it in ruins, even though the Athenians came out victorious in the invasion. The Athenians declared never to rebuild it again, but decided 33 years later that Acropolis was to be renewed in addition of the Parthenon and Athena Nike, because it symbolized its mighty empire and Athenian democracy.
What remains from the Acropolis of Athens is a symbol of Greek legacy and is one of the most significant sites in Greek history and archaeology. Beginning in 1975, renovations began on the Parthenon and other buildings in order to restore the Acropolis back to its original state. The Acropolis Restoration Project has added new marble from Mount Penili and mixed its original materials to fix the buildings and monuments on the Acropolis. A total of 2,675 tons of agricultural members have been restored so far. There is also currently a museum called the New Acropolis Museum, which is located beside the rock of the Acropolis and took place of the Old Acropolis Museum, which was placed at the top of the Acropolis. Recently, though, there has been dispute between the Greek government and an Englishman named Lord Elgin, who claimed he received permission from the Turkish authorities to remove what he wanted from the ruins in the Parthenon. The Greek government now wants the British Museum in London, England, to bring back the Parthenon marbles in which Lord Elgin gave them. There is now a whole floor dedicated to the New Acropolis Museum for whenever the Parthenon marbles are returned. But for now, what remains of this state is its beautiful legacy in Greek culture and reminds us how Greek architecture marveled in its time.
Greece, 5th century BC. Over the course of 3 decades, led by one man, a city and its people rise to greatness. This is Athens, the birthplace of democracy. But it is Pericles' city.
Pericles decided that the best way to leave an indelible mark on posterity was to completely alter the skyline and appearance of the center of his city, Athens.
Pericles builds impregnable fortifications, the first Senate House, a complex network of pipes to supply his people with fresh water. He builds the most powerful navy in the ancient world, and he builds temples. One, the Parthenon, will be hailed by many as the most perfect building ever completed.
I think he did have a vision for what Athens should be, and seemed to follow